Okay, who do we got up here today? Y'all glad it's Friday? Dang, Ross is glad it's Friday. Me too, man. Neil, how are you? Good to see you. You just got a Demco 20.5 Shark Lock from Stella, upgraded by Stella. So not just any old Demco 20.5. You got an upgraded one. Sweet. What does she do to it that upgraded it? Let me know, because I'm not familiar with what Stella's handiwork is. Still trying to fight this piece of shit chair. uh B&A. What's up, buddy? Somebody was just showing me off their one of their bikes, one of their non-motorized bikes for playing in the dirt. 15V Shaman. You traded an ABW 1 Model 1 for a Native 5 in Maximet. How do you like Maximet? Bobo Schnoggins, how are you? This chair's gonna be the death of me, I swear. One of these days I'm gonna chuck it into the backyard and go to town on it with a hatchet or something. You like Tool steals that patina. Right on. Gons is in the house. What up? So if y'all haven't seen the photo of my daughter and I battling it out in costume on Instagram, we had a pretty darn good time last weekend at the Georgia Renaissance Fair. Yes, we did. I wore the costume for more than half of the day that we were there. The beard and the wig started to bother me a little too much, and it got to a point where I was wanting to like eat and not just nibble on the beef jerky that I had. So it had to come off. It had to come off. It was too difficult. I understand and can appreciate the frustration that women with thick, long hair have. That is truly a nightmare. I cannot fathom how terrible it is to, on a daily basis, have to manage the mayhem of thick, long hair that constantly wants to get in your face. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. It's gotta be. I mean, I guess with anything and everything, you deal with it long enough, you kind of get used to it. That's how I am with my busted up back and sleep apnea. You kind of it just becomes your everyday reality, right? But yeah, let's see. Again, no new knives. We are. How many days are we till? It's about time that I start doing some video recordings on the daily countdown to Blade Show, because we are. How many days left? Let me pull it up. It says 13 days, 14 hours. So to me, that's 14 days. 14 more wake ups till Blade Show. Ta-da, there's your countdown per their website. So, yeah, I need to bust out the camera and record a handful of them and get ahead and stay on top of the daily countdown. But this week, I have had this guy in my pocket for the majority, which is a knife that I picked up at last year's Blade Show. And of course, this camera doesn't really do its justice on the acid wash job, the colored wash job that is on this handle. But this is a sweet knife that I don't know the name of off the top of my head. Yeah, I don't remember. Anybody remember what the name of this one is? It's a sweet knife, though. That is my absolute favorite Wharncliffe blade shape, reverse Tonto-esque. So it's not a hollow grind. It's just a flat grind. It would be even more sweet if this thing had a hollow grind. But it's S35VN. But yeah, love it. Beautiful knife. Can't decide on the Shaman or the Native. Well, one's obviously much larger size, more full size of a knife than the other. But just depends on how you're doing, what you're doing for the day, whether you feel like a bigger blade or a medium-sized blade, I guess. That's why I don't carry at so many of my smaller knives anymore, because I just have gravitated to much larger blades for everyday carry. So like the Devo Nip, an insanely awesome little knife with fantastic ergos, forward choil that's usable to choke up on, great little utility Wharncliffe cleaverish blade shape, fantastic little knife that I just don't carry it that much. He does not see a lot of pocket time, and I dropped it, not on the keyboard, so it's not a KC drop. I do carry this guy a lot for its size. I really love the Spey Point blade and the wood handle scale that's got some micro milling on it that feels pretty sweet. And it actually has the tweezers in the back end, which I've only used a couple of times, but they do work. They do a decent job for some small tweezers. But this is the Civivi Cindy. The Cindy. Which is a Ben Peterson design, so really cool. I did do the swap out for the milled pocket clip, which rather than Civivi's standard folded over deep carry clip. Definitely love this clip way better in the fact that on a smaller handled knife like this, it's far more minimalistic. The ergos is all that much better. If you don't, it like totally disappears ergonomics wise, having that kind of a clip. And I like that it's, by not being a true deep carry pocket clip, it does give you just that little bit of handle material to grab to get it out of your pocket. So when you're going for the smaller, little slim stick shaped folders, having material to grab to yank it out of your pockets is better than a true deep carry clip where you don't get anything and you got to really dig for it. So, deep carry clips are not always the answer, not always the best route to go. As much as I do love a good deep carry clip, But yeah, so that's that. What was really sweet? I'm gonna bring up a photo of it. Georgia Renaissance Festival, um, pineapple thing, the Dole Whip. Yes, Dole Whip pineapple. Come on, are there not images? Yeah, here we go. Here we are. Yeah, baby. So I don't. Well, I know why it didn't happen, but when I got mine, this thing that I will share with you guys. Oh no, no, I don't like that. Back, back. I don't want a little TikTok video clip. I just want a solid photo that I can pull up for y'all to see. No, no, just why is it always gotta be stand by? But anyways, this pineapple thing that they have at the Dole Whip there at the Renaissance Festival was nuts, was insane, and it was so freaking good. I just open image in new tab. There we go. Actually, can I get this one opened up that way? Open image in new tab. Yes. And then zoom in. Alright, because I've got it zoomed in, you're not gonna it's not gonna be a crisp clean image, but you're gonna get the idea. So yeah, so that thing. So what they do, the Dole Whip station is Neil. The only spell is piss off customer spell. No. So the Dole Whip pineapple thing that they have at the festival, they take the pineapple, cut off the top, hollow it out, and with the guts of it, they chop it up, throw half of it back in, and then they get the Dole Whip pineapple slushy stuff, and then they put that in it with the chunks of pineapple, and then they do the pineapple soft serve stuff whipped up onto the top of it, and that shit, god damn, is it good. It was absolutely delicious, but the downfall is you're eating this. I mean, it's a full-size pineapple, so it is a lot of pineapple. um it is a lot of pineapple, and if anybody knows, if you eat too much pineapple in one sitting, the acidity from it uh, does something to your tongue that becomes rather unpleasant. So by the time I finished this damn thing, and I had my daughter help me, she helped me out a little bit. By the time when I got it, it was hot outside. It wasn't too terribly hot, but it was hot and muggy. And so then it took me like another 15-20 minutes to find her wherever she ran off to with her group of Girl Scouts. And so the time that I was trying to find her is to get her to help me eat this thing. It was, the ice cream part was melting, and my hands were totally drenched in sticky pineapple-ness. And so I was trying to eat it to keep it from falling, from the ice cream bit from toppling over. So by the time I got to her, she was all mad at me because there was almost no ice cream left, and I was like, "Well, you don't understand the struggle that I endured." And so I had eaten just about all the ice cream. Yes, go away. Ugh. But yeah, so it was intense. It was intense, but it was delicious. And it was it was we were at a festival, so naturally price hikes. But it was $14 for the thing. But I gotta say, it was $14 well spent. I enjoyed every bit of it. Every bit of it. Damn, that thing was so good. And it was worth even my tongue tingling like terrible afterwards. Um, After about an hour or so of eating some more beef jerky and some Nutter Butters that I had, I was fine after that. The tongue did go back to normal. Oh, really, dang Ross? You think? I do have customers who do that. Um, I didn't really want to talk about work, but if you go into Lowe's or Home Depot, uh, and you're buying wire for your house, all right. There is at Lowe's we have a conveyor belt that has wire on it and large spools that are sold by the foot, where you can buy wire by the foot. So if you only need 6 feet, if you need exactly 123 feet, you don't have to buy the 250-foot roll of the stuff if you only need so much or whatever. But many of the times, if you will find that the price by foot wire is a little more expensive, or even rarely a lot more expensive than buying it in the prepackaged lengths. So if you need 75 feet of this particular gauge wire, the 125-foot roll might be $87, but if you buy it by the foot and you pay for 75 feet of the exact same wire, and it ends up running you about $94. So you end up, even though you end up with more wire than you need, you're spending less money. And so I've had a few customers, not many, but a few here and there, come in who think they know everything and refuse to let me, like, outright refuse to let me explain that to them. And they insist that they know what they're doing and they want the wire by the foot and want exactly what they want. They're too stubborn to lend an ear and learn. So it is what it is. At the end of the day, it's like, whatever. It's your money, not mine. I don't care. But yeah. But no, we had a good time at the Renaissance Fair. I slept in Friday night. Oh, let me tell you, up Friday night, I need to invest. I need to figure out and purchase a solid pair of heavy duty but compact rain pants. I do. I really do. Because the rain pants that I have suck. They're awesome in the fact that they're super tiny. They pack down into a nice little ball in its own pouch. But they're not, like, they're good for standing around in light rain. They're not as far as keeping you dry, but they do not keep you dry when you're going 70 something miles an hour down the highway for a couple of hours, for 2 to 3 hours in a freaking rainstorm from hell. They do not keep you dry that way. So I need to get some better rain pants for on the motorcycle. So if anybody knows anything short of a flipping Uh, I don't want to look like a yellow banana, Popeye the Sailor's Man type rain suit. And I don't need a jacket. I have a good jacket for on the bike, but I need a new pair of pants for on the bike because I got totally drenched again. Now, see, I know some people like frog togs, Neil. I don't know what it is about them that I hate them. I don't. It's not the frog part. Maybe it's the tog part. I don't know. I don't know what it is about frog togs that I despise. But I can't do frog togs. I don't know why. I couldn't pinpoint why. I'm weird like that. You just have to write that off as Urban's a weirdo. But I do not do frog togs. I can't. I can't. I've tried a pair on and walked around up and down an aisle and it was just like, nope, not me, not happening. Yeah, you're not the guy to get advice from either. Yeah, I don't like riding in the rain. I don't know anybody who likes riding in the rain. Um, but I find myself doing it more often than I like. Yeah, 33.7 inches of Romex. You're the customer that I look at and just like, no. uh, yeah, so I don't want the super heavy duty, tacky, ugly looking. I don't want to look like I belong on a shrimp boat with Forrest Gump. I don't want those kind of rain pants, but I do need some decent rain pants for on the motorcycle because I got soaking wet. I showed up to eat some dinner at a Buffalo Wild Wings there in Macon, Georgia, and it went straight to the bathroom and stripped down to my skivvies and was wringing everything out. I poured probably about 4 ounces of rainwater out of each cowboy boot. Just dumped it into the toilet out of each cowboy boot. Had my pant legs. I was stringing, getting as much water out of it, and had my shirt hanging up. And I went and eating, after I drained everything out, I sat there and ate, shivering and still wet, and shivering because I was cold, damn near hypothermia from that. I stopped at a gas station down the road that had a nice warm blower hand dryer in their bathroom, and I took my socks off and my boots off and stood there and was drying them, just going back and forth each one, doing a cycle with the blower, with the hand blower that was blowing the hot air to dry out my. I was able to dry out my socks completely, and I had my boots probably about 80% dry. And then I hopped back on the bike and rode to the state park that I camped at overnight. And I didn't camp because all I did was grab one of my hammocks and stringed it up underneath the pavilion so that I could stay dry and keep all my stuff dry. And I parked the motorcycle underneath up against one of their buildings there that had a extended roof over it so that it was protected and dry and stayed dry, or had the opportunity to not get any more wet through the night. And so I slept in a hammock, and I had a blanket, had one of the puffy blankets, and just slept in the hammock there underneath the pavilion. as it continued to rain on and off through the night. So I got, I guess, decent amount of sleep, and I was mostly dry. But yeah, so then in the morning I got up and went and got some coffee and a biscuit, a sausage biscuit sandwich for breakfast, and then got to the Renaissance Fair at around 8:30 in the morning, and hung out for a little bit while everybody was parking out in the big fields. Since I had the motorcycle, I rolled up and asked the dude that was directing all the parking. I was like, "Hey man, where do you want me to go?" And he was like, he looked at me. He was like, "Oh, your first motorcycle here today. Go park over there, right up front, right where the entrance is. Like literally 40 yards from the front door of the place, not in the parking lot." He's like, "Just park right over there. You're good." And so, yeah, so I had a great parking spot, being on the motorcycle rather than in a vehicle. So that was kind of nice. Oh, that is bad news, brother. Leaking fork seals are no bueno. They're not too terrible to replace. Usually they don't charge very much for that. Just about an hour or maybe 2 hours of labor. Yeah, something around there. If you're having to do both. $586 pages. That ain't nothing. You don't. That's Harleys have at least 3 times that. And in about a third of a Harley manual, all about engine oil leakage. Just kidding. Just kidding. Not really. But yeah, so it was nice just to get there nice and early, and it dried up, and we actually had a almost completely dry day there at the festival. It was mostly sunny, and it wasn't super insanely hot. We were in the upper 70s, flirting right around 80 degrees. So that was way better than in 95 degrees out here. And so I got to hang out, just relax there at the motorcycle, and smoked a cigar that I had initially intentionally meant to have that night, just hanging out under the pavilion. But because of the rain and because of all the time I spent trying to wring myself and dry myself out, I didn't get to setting up my hammock and crawling into it until shit. It's probably close to 1 o'clock in the morning by the time I got into that damn hammock for the night. And I was just so exhausted from riding in the rain and dealing with the rain. And I spent a long time at Buffalo Wild Wings trying to just dry out and get warm and put some warm food in me. But yeah, no, it ended up being a pretty good trip. I went around to all the leather shops that were there, and I kept asking if they had any cod pieces that I could possibly get one and send to Maddie. Even though we know that ideally we want Joe to make a better than cardboard Lancelot leather stamped cod piece. That's ideally what Maddie wants. But I thought, I'd humor it if somebody had one. But they didn't. Nobody did. I guess that's a different kind of festival that you would find those at. But I thought of them. I thought of Maddie, and when they had a tobacco pipe shop where they had handmade tobacco pipes, and that made me think of the one that I made for Stevie. So, Stevie was in the back of my mind too at one point during the day. And so Lancelot Leather was. I thought about him, thought about Maddie, thought about Stevie. I don't know if any of y'all have that where just on your day-to-day life have things that remind you of different people in our community. But I do. I absolutely do. And that's a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful thing. The one and only thing that I did buy, even though I was so tempted to pick up so many swords and battle axes, there's some particular axes that I was just like drooling over the idea of purchasing, but the price tags that they had on them were like woo-wee, right? But I did pick up this thing, which is really cool. They had quite a number of different prints on them, stamps on them. The one that I ended up settling with was the compass, all the compass points, and that's just a leather wrap strap deal that goes around this guy. And even though it looks like pewter, supposedly is not truly pewter. I don't know what metals they are, but this thing is huge. Like if you can pour 3.5 beers, 12-ounce beers. You can get 3.5 of them in this thing. It is huge. Like I emptied 2 into it and was like, holy shit, I could fit a whole nother one in here. But so yeah, this thing holds quite a bit. It's got a nice big flat bottom, and it's got some heft to it. It's really got some heft to it. But what is really neat about this thing is, again, it's not a pewter. It's not a true pewter. So whatever metal it's made out. But as soon as you fill it up with something cold, this whole damn thing gets cold, like very cold, ice cold, like colder than the drink itself that you put into it. So that's kind of neat. You don't want to know how much I paid for that thing. It was high priced as well, but it was probably all the things in all the places. It was probably one souvenir item that was probably closest to being reasonably priced. But yeah, so yeah, no, it pretty much double that B&A. 75. I paid $75 for it. Ouch. I had to get something. But I was I mean, it is supposedly handcrafted. And I looked, you could not find this on Amazon, this exact one. You could find some that were somewhat similar in design that did not have the wraps, and they were of different inexpensive material. This is some heavy duty material. So yeah, this was not something that you could get off of Amazon over some dinky website. You had to buy. I had to spend some good money. Yeah, I do. I mean, it looks very robust. Overbuilt straps, buckles, and clasp. Very Viking-ish. Heavy duty. It is heavy duty. Yeah, no, you didn't, dang Ross. That's you load of crap, man. There's no way. I looked. I sat down at a table and searched the internets, all 7 of them, for that exact thing, because I was, I do not like to get bamboozled or taken advantage of. So, yeah, and that's the thing. When I was at the pipe shop. When I was at the tobacco pipe shop, where all these pipes that were handmade pipes, I swear to you, like there's so many in there that looked exactly like the ones that you buy off Amazon for like 12 to 25 bucks. And they were wanting anywhere from 35, I think, for the cheapest, small, like itty bitty basic ones, to like 300 some, 400 some dollars for, the big wizardy type long stemmed ones with the big bowls. But yeah, to me, it felt like walking through there, it felt like about at least a third, if not close to half, of those pipes in there were not handmade. Like they were bought off of Amazon and being resold. So I mean, I would prefer to give the couple of fellas working that shop there, the benefit of the doubt, but it's really hard to when they look so similar. And one fella tried to argue with me and state, no, these are truly handcrafted by us, and it's just the ones that you see on Amazon, they're imitations and copies of the ones that we as true crafters, true pipe makers make. Amazon's the ones that's selling the knockoffs. And I'm like, okay, whatever. you still not getting me to spend $150 on a pipe that looks exactly like the one off Amazon for 40 bucks. Sorry. But the jousting was cool. The other stuff was cool. The Girl Scouts, my daughter and her Girl Scout group didn't actually make it to the festival until like almost 1:00 in the afternoon. They just had a slow morning, getting up and getting together and getting a move on it, and they ended up eating lunch at like Chick-fil-A or somewhere before they got to the festival. So they might have saved a couple bucks by not eating a full meal at the festival, because all the food there was expensive. So since I got there so early, like an hour and a half before they even started and opened up the doors, had my cigar and then got into costume. And I stayed into costume since like 9:30 is roughly when I got into it, which was almost an hour before they open up the doors. But they do some other stuff outside before they allow you in. And then I stayed in costume until like right around 2:00. That's when I was like, okay, I've had enough of this dinky beard and whatever. So I stayed in costume for most of the day. I got a lot of compliments. Actually, the first knife shop that I went into, sword shop that I went into, the guy working it was like, hey, that's a really awesome staff. You definitely made that, didn't you? And I was like, yeah, actually I did. So, I took about a minute to explain how it comes apart in pieces and how I did the top and turned it on the wood lathe. And so he thought that was really cool. And that was just the first one. And I wasn't inside the festival for more than 10 minutes before someone asked about it, commented on it. Hey, Todd, how are you? So that was cool. That was fun. I had when communicating with one of the adult leaders for the Girl Scout group, trying to find out when they were going to get there so that I can meet them up front. So when I went back up to the entrance after having a fun time watching a couple of shows and checking the whole, I spent the first couple hours just checking the whole place out on my own, not having to worry about, oh, where's my daughter? I need to hang out with my daughter and her group and be a part of that. Since they didn't get there till much later, I got to do the whole thing on my own, which is rare for me. Just like Blade Show, going to Blade Show, it's rare for me to go places and do that kind of stuff without having a family and always having to, be right there with the family and do everything with the family and make sure everybody in the family's happy with what we're doing and where we're at, and has food, has water, has is taken care of. So and then we go where they want to go and do what they want to do, and everybody ends up getting what they want as best as possible. So it's nice being able to go to places and do that stuff on my own and just kind of go at my pace and go where I want to go and just not have to compromise or concede to anybody else his needs or wants. So that was nice. It was cool to be able to do that. And then once they got there, then I attached myself to them and spent 90% of their time there, right there with them. And my daughter really, really appreciated that, and they all loved my costume. But so when I went up to the front entrance to wait for them and greet them, and surprise them with being in my costume, I had people coming in thinking that I was part of the staff working the festival that were asking to take photos with me. So I had about 7 or 8 people, probably at least 7 or 8 people, wanting their kids to pose with me for photos because of the costume I was in. So I embraced it. The first time I was just like, okay, this is a little awkward, but whatever. I just go with it. And then after the second and third person, I was like, well, this is fun actually. So I embraced it and went with it, and helped make that memory for other people's kids. So that was fun. That was great. That's I don't like to dress up very often, but I ended up having some fun there. Yes, I loved it. I did. It was nice. That does not mean that you're gonna see me in some clown outfit at a Chuck E. Cheese anytime soon. No siree, not happening. Not doing that. Absolutely. I didn't have that much fun to go that far in that direction. No, 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 no. Made some mini wands. I actually, I probably would have gotten in trouble for that because they had 2 wand stands where they're selling wands. One of them, they were all handcrafted. A guy who probably turned them on a lathe. So I probably most likely would have gotten in trouble for trying to sell anything like that, or even giving them out. Because even if I was giving them out for free, it's still what's the right word? It minimizes the abilities for the wand shop people to make as many sales as they would if there wasn't some crazy dude in a wizard costume just handing free ones out. So yeah, I couldn't. It would have been fun, but I would have probably gotten in trouble if I had done that. So yeah, can't be giving out freebies that would undermine the local sellers there. Dang Ross, I know you're not the only one who's mentioned that. I know Beard of Doom would absolutely love, and that was kind of funny. Who was it? Was it you? Who was it who commented on Instagram who said, "Why did I dress up like Beard of Doom?" That was fucking hilarious. I absolutely love that comment. I gotta give me a second to get to that. That shit was funny. I forget who said that. It was one of you that is commonly present in in. Okay, sorry. I sent something to Beard of Doom, motorcycle enthusiast wise, and he's all right. I gotta share this with y'all too. Hold on, this is funny. He won't care. So I sent him this little video of this windshield wiper for your helmet face guard thing. And so I sent that in, and I said, I might need one of these and keep getting drenched. He said, just wax it or use Rain-X. He says, if I see you with that, I'm going to laugh at you, then beat you with a wet noodle. I love Kevin. He's so funny. But let me go to. So here's me and my daughter, and me dressed up as a wizard. And who said it? Budget Blade Review said, "Why'd you go as the Beard of Doom?" But yeah, no, and I had one kid comment like the sunglasses totally completes the outfit. He was all about like the sunglasses are a nice touch. And it was a young kid that said that to me. So you know how hard it is as somebody in their 30s or 40s to get approval from these young generations these days. So, but yeah, so we had a good time. We really did. I ended up, I guess, from subjecting myself to that nasty weather. Somehow I ended up getting sick Sunday when I got home late Saturday night, because after the event was over, I left at about 6:15. I left the festival there in Atlanta, and drove the 5.5 hours home. So I got home at around 11:30. Yeah, about 11:30, and I was booking it on some stretches where there was like nobody on the road. So I got home at 11:30, exhausted, and just hit the bed. And because then I worked Sunday morning, I went into work and worked a 7 hour shift, on Sunday, which I normally don't do. But I need the hours. I want the hours, want the money. So yeah, it was exhausting, and I ended up getting sick. Somehow I got sick. It was like an upper respiratory, mostly like in the face, upper nose and forehead area, and that's been kicking my ass all week. All week I've been dealing with this. It was causing drainage from my eyes and congestion all in my nose. The bridge of my nose was hurting like hell for about 3 days. Pretty much Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, my nose was like, it felt like somebody had slammed me with a cutting board right in the face. Tried to break my nose. Like that's how much it hurt. So I'm not quite 100%. Maybe by next Monday, I'll be good to go. I still got a little bit of congestion in the mornings and a tiny little bit of drainage from the eyes. So it was a good thing that I had the sunglasses, sunglasses, because my eyes were all baggy. I have bags under my eyes from being tired, and they were a little puffy and everything. But let's see, what else happened? Anything else happened this week? Oh, the kids got out of school this week. This was their last week of school, so they're home all day today and doing summer vacation with them, trying to keep them occupied and be a referee with all the fighting. Not looking forward to that. I am looking forward for Blade Show. I just want to go to Blade Show. Yeah, it's kind of a little too late, but how sweet would it be for Forrest to do some Hanks that were Blade Show themed hanks that had some knives in the corners, or Blade Show written on it somewhere. I think it would be. I would buy one. I would for sure buy one. Ugh. I've been tired again. Being sick, kind of just kicking my ass. So I've been tired. I've been an urban wizard, Hank. Yeah. So as far as wearing the wizard costume at Blade Show, I can't. I can't. I can't because one, it's just not worth being uncomfortable for wearing something like that at Blade Show. At Blade Show, I want to enjoy Blade Show. Not saying that I didn't enjoy the dressing up as a wizard for the sake of that event, but I mean that was all geared towards the fact that there were a whole bunch of other people, like 70+% of the people at that festival were dressed up, and about 40% of them were dressed up as wizards, of a wizard of some shape, form, or style. Yeah, about 35 to 40% of them were wizards, had on wizard costumes. And I applauded all the dudes that were like in dressed up as like medieval knight type costumes with leather, and a lot of them had chainmail, and they had all the metal shoulder protective stuff. I don't know all the names to all those parts of armor, but and then they had lances and swords and stuff hanging on their hips and everything. And I almost got stabbed in the leg by one of them, who, I mean, he was like a homemade sword, but he made it. I don't know what it was like a paper mache type thing, but he had it, and it was like it felt like it was going to cut my leg when it hit my leg as he was walking around. But it was like just the cosplay that some of these people, it almost felt like I was at a Comic-Con event. It really did. And it was interesting to experience that, once in a blue moon, but I no, I couldn't do that often. That's not my kind of atmosphere. It's really not. I am not into that cosplay stuff. I am not into LARPing. I've never had any intentions of doing that. I don't mind dressing up for Halloween. I don't mind dressing up for this one-off time of going to this festival, because I like to do it for the kids. But I can not do that on a frequent basis like some of these people do. That's just nuts. It's absolutely crazy. But props to them for wearing all that stuff and wearing it all damn day long, and enduring that. Because my response is no, thank you, no, thank you. I have been behaving as far as not spending a lot of money and keeping a budget. Although, because I've been doing that, I consolidated a couple of my loans into another loan for some of my credit cards that are racked up a little on the higher end. I know, because I'm terrible. I'm not the best budgeting person. My wife had to do it too, so I'm not the only one. I'm sure a lot of y'all have had experience with dealing with large credit and having to consolidate. But yeah, so I did a consolidation, a small consolidation loan, in order to get a better interest rate and get a better handle on my finances over the summer here. And that also freed me up with a little bit extra cushion money for Blade Show and also with being able to get a couple of things I wanted to have like now. Don't absolutely need now, but really had every intention of using my tax return to purchase these couple of items. But because of the whole thing with my wife's ex-husband and child support being dickheads, our tax returns on hold right now and won't get resolved until almost the end of the summer. Hopefully, fingers crossed, before July, we'll have it. They'll release it back to us and quit being dickheads. But since that's after Blade Show, not before Blade Show, I kind of needed to do what I needed to do so that I could get a couple of things. And one of the things was a newer motorcycle helmet. I have two helmets. I have my 3/4 face helmet that I wear, that is my urban helmet that I wear around town here, and pretty much almost all through the summer when it's hot. Is too damn hot for a full face, or even my 3/4 helmet. I prefer the 3/4 helmet when I'm on the highways, when I travel, for the extra safety with the chin bar. But the 3/4 or the modular helmet that has the full size chin bar, has the full blown protection. The one that I got when I bought the motorcycle just a hair over 2 years ago, and it's a very inexpensive one. It's still a good one. It still has all the safety ratings. It's not a garbage helmet. It will protect me if I were to get in an awful accident. But I wanted to get a better one, one that is a little more all season. And let me pull up the one that I ended up getting. I am partial from over the years, from my time being on two wheels, because I've ridden and had owned other things besides the motorcycle that I have now. I had that scooter that I had souped up to go 45 miles an hour. And that was just a little 49cc, and I freaking full throttle that thing 24/7 into the ground, like destroyed that little scooter, trying to make it go as fast as humanly possible in every way possible that you could do, short of swapping out the engine. But the one that I ended up going with is an LS2 helmet, and I'm very partial to LS2. I really like them. I like the way their sizing is on them. Every motorcycle helmet company is a little funny with the way they do their sizing. They're not all the same to one another. Same thing with motorcycle gloves. Your riding gloves, their sizing is not like a work glove sizing. Like, I wear a medium. My hands are kind of weird in their shape, in the fact that my palm dimensions wise is a medium, or it is a large, but then my finger lengths are not quite as long. My finger lengths are more for like a size medium work glove. So I have to wear large work gloves for the sake of my palm size, but then I end up with a little bit of extra material in the tips of the fingers because my fingers are not a full size large finger lengths, if that makes sense to y'all. But this is the one that I ended up getting, and it's this they call it jeans finish, the helmet finish. It's just like a brushed, like a hand rubbed, satiny type finish on a silver helmet, which kind of is reminiscent of our pocket knives that have that hand rubbed satin finish, right? So that was very appealing to me. I wonder why. But this guy is go away. He's a modular helmet in the fact that, and you're probably gonna have to watch
the LS2
get rid of. So it's a modular helmet where the face shield comes down and the chin bar part of it comes up. Here he is weighing it, which weight makes an insane difference. But it's got the internal visor, it's got the outer face shield, and then the chin bar part of it actually also comes up. Here he gets into the features. Is he going to talk about it, or is he going to show it? Oh, come on. He doesn't really show it. Here it is right here. Get rid of that crap. So if you see how the chin bar goes not just up, but it goes all the way back. It goes all the way back, which is kind of a new style. Let's see if I can pause it right there. Okay, so it goes all the way back, and it's designed to actually airflow wise, or aerodynamics wise, it folds all the way back. It actually goes a little bit further than the position that they've got it here in this video clip. It actually goes even further back, I believe, like by another quarter of an inch to half an inch or so. But yeah, it goes to the back side of the helmet and is done so in a way that aerodynamically it can stay like that at highway speeds. Whereas like the 3/4 helmets that I have, the one that I have, it doesn't go that far back and it's not done in an aerodynamic way. So there's no way I could ride with it back like that on the highway. It would probably damage it. But then the front shield is large enough to where with that down and the chin bar all the way back, you can wear it like a 3/4 helmet, like the helmet that I wear on a daily basis is done. So that's the beauty of it, is the fact that you can have the chin bar down all the way down and wear it like a full helmet, or I can have that chin bar all the way back and wear it like it's a 3/4 open face helmet. And in commuting, I can actually flip the visor up and just have the sunshade down and wear it like an open faced helmet with no visor. So it's like completely modular in every way. So that's the helmet, and it's an almost $400 helmet, which is not exactly high end. High end helmets are usually above 500, easily above 500, into that $600, $700, or $800 helmets. That's the titanium one. They have their carbon fiber one is like $500 of the same style. But yeah, so that's the helmet that I bought, and it gets here in about 4 days, I believe, in about 3 or 4 days. It's coming from, it actually left Amsterdam this morning, or outside of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. So it's flying overseas probably as we speak. So with that, I will then be able to wear that one when I take the wife for the kids out, and I usually give them the kids. I give the modular helmet that I have now, and I make the kids wear that one, and then I wear the 3/4 face one. when the wife and I go out, I usually give her the 3/4 faced one because it's easier for her to get her head with her full head of hair into that one. It has a little more flex in the helmet itself. So with your cute chubby cheeks, it squishes your cute chubby cheeks. I love you. She's in the chat. I don't know if you're being serious with that comment or not. I cannot sense any amount of sarcasm. But in all seriously, I did need a better quality, more long-term helmet. Okay, you are being a smartass. But yeah, no, she knows we needed for all of us that ride on the bike. Well, every single person in my family rides on the bike with me at some point in time. But yeah, there was an absolute need for another helmet for safety's sake. So it was money well spent. It was better to spend the money on that than some fixed bladed sword thingy up at this Renaissance festival. So yeah, I hope she wasn't being sarcastic. But yeah, so that helmet will serve me well for many years, for at least 3 or 4 years. Usually, it's best to, I don't know, B&A. Wouldn't you say about every 4 years, 4 to 5 years, you need to look at getting a new helmet and kind of retiring the old one or leaving it as a backup? Oh, Cheeto snuck in here. Ding Ross pointed out. Danny DeCito. DeCheto. You ride enough. You ride enough. She likes to when we go out for little date nights, and we go watch a live band play or something somewhere. Marisol, I need a beer helmet. There's too much. This is honestly, this is how I view the beer helmets. There is too much involved in setting up a beer helmet with the beer that in the same amount of time that it takes to set up a beer helmet, I could have just drank the beer. Yeah, Mrs. Urban realized because we went to a concert down in Jacksonville, and it takes about an hour and 10 minutes to get down into Jacksonville from where we live, Jacksonville, Florida. So after about 40 minutes or so on the passenger seat of the motorcycle, she realized that yes, those passenger seats are not made for on this motorcycle. They're not made for long-term rides. They're not made for sitting there for an hour or more. The motorcycle that I have is not a touring bike. It is not a touring bike. Nowhere close to being a touring bike. So the tiny little passenger seat is not comfortable at all. Not at all. She wants me to get her a little extra cushion that attaches to the top of it. Nice little cushiony pad to go on the top to make it more comfortable. So I don't know about doing that. Because 90% of the time that I have a passenger on my motorcycle, it's just zipping right around town here. You're not on it for more than 25 minutes at a time. So I don't see the need in investing in a more cushiony passenger seat when I usually don't have a passenger. Yes, but about another 15, 20 minutes. What you need, bud? Huh? Oh, you want to watch TV in here? Okay. Give me about another 10, 15 minutes. All right, bud? Let me get some water. You need to drink something. Hydrate. Suburban's a little under the weather right now. Hey, there's Ed. Hey, Ed, are you going to be at Blade Show for just one day this year, or are you coming for a couple of days? I just want to know how much I get to see you. How many times I get to sneak in a hug from you, man. Of course, I'll be there all 3 days. I will be the place that I slept in the hammock in on for this week and for this past weekend is this north side of Macon, Georgia. That's the same place that I'm going to crash at and do the same thing for Blade Show when I drive up Wednesday night, so that I can get there and be in Atlanta Thursday morning. I'm doing the same thing, crashing at the same place in the hammock. Just that worked out pretty darn well, and not having to spend a dime, because I'll be doing the same thing, getting there late at night, just setting up the hammock real quick, snoozing for about 5 to 7 hours, and then heading right back onto the road. So that was kind of also another reason why I wanted to go to this festival thing with my daughter, was because I wanted to check that place out and see how well that worked out. Crashing there like that. I'm sorry. Different Ed. My bad. There's too many of y'all. This is the poor Ed. Okay. So no Blade Show for you? Yeah, for whatever reason I was thinking Ed Harrison. He didn't pop in here today. He's usually hit or miss, isn't he? As far as catching my show. There is did y'all let me pull this up. I didn't even check White Mountain Knives offerings newest knives today, because again I've been doing a pretty darn good job of behaving. Oh, you are. There you go. You are going to be there all 3 days. Sweet. Because didn't last year, weren't you just able to get up and see us on Saturday? I believe you were just there Saturday last year, if I remember yet. Oh, you're in New Mexico. And yeah, plane tickets ain't cheap unless you fly Spirit or Frontier. Frontier sucks. And Spirit ain't much better. But flights are cheap into Orlando. If you fly in Spirit or Frontier, flying into Orlando, my wife knows all about that. Todd, I would love to see you, man. I hope you can make it. You know, if I could win the lottery, there are a number of individuals that I would be absolutely insisting that I help make it possible for them. Because if you're in this community you've got to experience one of the shows, whether it's this one or the Texas one or Blade Show West. You got to get to one of them at least every 2 to 5 years. You got to go to one of them. And I've yet to. I was really rooting for Maddie to be able to make it out here this time, because I've yet to meet that dude in person. I've not met Maddie in person, and I would love to meet him in person. But let's check out White Mountain Knives if y'all haven't already today. Somebody returned RS Chaos. There's Too Fun. Here's the Megaron Moral. But the one something that I wanted to mention is that once we get to it, this Trevisa is got Bearded Doom vibes all over that. Yeah, doesn't it? It's a 4.29, 4.3 inch blade. That is definitely Doom's cup of tea right there. Faux show. I don't need 10% off right now. Yeah. I like that. For Doom. Not me, but for Doom. Isn't that a sick looking knife? Well, which new Vosteed DNA? Let me go back. And we'll get to it once we get here. This guy. This is what I was looking at yesterday. And finding out, not yesterday, but I think the day before, but Tenable is the newish budget line, and that's their little symbol right there, their little logo symbol. That is the budget line from Concept, made by Concept. So that is Concept's budget line, Tenable. So I didn't know if everybody else knew that, but I learned that just a couple days ago. Oh, Mrs. Urban got to go. She's busy at work. Love you, honey. Show that knife again. Yeah, so the Tenable. You like that? You like that? I didn't know if that was something that you would enjoy. Yeah, it's purple. It's purple. I wouldn't get the purple one, but I like the black wash finish, and of course that's my kind of blade shape. I would have gone if I were to have gotten one. And of course, when you go back, they kind of fuck up the come back here. There we go. The one that I would have gotten would have been this one. It's in 14C28N, so that's it's a great budget steal. $50, 10% off with with your discounts, couponies. But yeah, I like the red and black one here. My only thing is they're flat scales, and I'm more all about the contoured scales these days. If it had contoured scales, I'd jump on it. And it is a 3.29-inch blade, so it's got a nice blade length, a little over 3-inch blade. Doesn't have a forward choil, but you could put your finger there. You could rest your finger on that. That's not too drastic. The lines there. So you could choke up on it. But yeah, that's an interesting looking knife. I bet the ergos are pretty good on that. I don't know how I feel about. I mean, that's like a Demco clip, like on the AD 20.5. Yeah. Where's my 20.5? I have that in one of these drawers. So yeah, that's kind of sorta that kind of a deal. You know, just mounting it on the side like that, so it's not going to be deep carry. I haven't carried this guy in a while. I got the burlap micarta scales online by Rips Garage Tech. But yeah, I don't know if I want to spend, $45 on that. Again, trying to save my money. Hang on to those dollars for Blade Show, for getting something really sweet at Blade Show. Gonna hope to find something really sweet at Blade Show. What I'm mostly looking forward to. But yeah, I wanted to share that with you guys because I did not know that this Tenable was Concepts budget line. So that's their new budget line, newish. I don't know when they finally finalized that, but that's pretty cool that they got a budget line. More same old stuff. Oh, somebody put out a video today. I forget who it was. It was Metal Concepts who put out a video today on this guy, the raccoon, having the top liner lock that's button actuated, the button released top liner lock, rather than having your full blown button locks. So you get a better lockup with it being a liner lock style rather than your pistoned button lock. So it's a little more solid, more reliable, more reliable. I can talk. Words are hard. So yeah, that's a better lock setup, and on a really, really solid knife. It is $60. Of course, it's out of stock right now. Well, that's an off-centered one, I guess, that somebody returned. But all right, let me go to one of the companies that I don't think I visited last year, or walked by it with just giving it a glance, because I don't know. I don't know if they were there last year. They had to have been there last year. But I don't recall whether or not I just breezed past their table and glanced at it, or if I stopped at it, or if they even had a table. I don't remember. But I am hoping, my fingers are crossed, that I can snag one of these Voodoos, the Knoll Knives Voodoo. I'm really hoping in a stone with the stone wash or acid wash blade, right? That's acid wash, has to be, or static wash, blasted and stone washed. Oh no, that's the handles. Yeah, blade is acid washed. Yeah, the acid wash blade. So I am hoping to get one of these. Really hoping to get one of these at Blade Show. That's the if I'm after any particular knife at Blade Show, it's this one. I want one of these. I really do. Everything that anybody's ever said or written or showed about this knife, it's an awesome knife, and I want one. I want one. Anytime he was doing a drops on these, I just didn't have the funds at the time for it, which kind of sucked. It sucks when it ends up being that way. And once I do acquire the funds, then they don't have one of the finish materials combos that I was interested in. So yeah, I'm really hoping that he'll have. I would expect that he would have some of these at Blade Show. So that is one of the knives, if not the knife, that I am going to be chasing after. Yeah, that's been my objective. That's been the plan for the last 3 months. Is no buying knives till Blade Show. So hopefully I'll be able to get myself one of these. And it would be sweet if I could snag one for like $20 less. Okay. Thank you, B&A, for bringing this up. All right. You want to talk Devo knives. Do you guys want me to dive into that? We are going to dive into that and what my thoughts are about Devo knives. Okay? Kevin is quite a character, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. And if you are familiar with our Southern phrase of bless his heart, I like him and don't like him at the same time. And I'm looking for. Where did I put their? I don't know where I put their handkerchief thing. I don't know where I stuck it. I have it. I have the hank that came with. All right, we're just gonna talk, okay? So let me minimize this guy. Go back to this. Okay, so my first Devo was this one. Okay, absolutely love this. This is a sweet knife. Okay. How much effort they put in, him and Colin, and I like Colin. I don't know Colin as well in character as I do Kevin. Kevin really, like, he projects his character. He's not an introvert by any means. If you know enough about Kevin, he's a complete extrovert. He wears his heart on his shoulder. which that's one of the things that I do love about him, is that he is just he is who he is, and he doesn't hide it. And I admire more people that are like that. The downfall is that, and I'm guilty of this too. I am guilty of this too. At times, I can come across my confidence in the way I carry myself can often come out and come across to certain people as being arrogant, and to a point of a little bit of being an asshole. I can understand how I can come across that way. In my defense on that is, when you've spent more than a decade perfecting skills in a particular area on something particular, and you are so confident because you know what you're talking about, because you've lived it and breathed it and practiced it on a constant basis, and you're proud of what you've been able to do over such a length of time in learning about and developing strong skills and knowledge about something, and you can come across as very arrogant, and to the point where people will see you and think of you as being a bit of an asshole when you talk about something that you're very passionately knowledgeable and skilled at. So I get that. He is also one of those guys, and in my opinion, he's worse than me. He's worse than me. I attempt, and it's a challenge for me to try to dial myself down in that and try to show that I am more humble mindset wise, and I have no intentions of coming across that way. That I'm proud that I know that what I'm talking about and what I'm sharing with you is stuff that I've learned, not just learned recently, but learned and put into practice and become skillful with. that my credibility is up there and not just prefabricated and falsified. With certain individuals like Kevin, because he's such an extrovert, and because he's so, like, I'm enthusiastic, but Kevin, oh my gosh, Kevin is like insanely enthusiastic, which I love, but I also hate at the same time. He comes across that way to a lot of people. So I don't mean it in a negative way. I'm just that's the aurora that he puts off. Okay. Yeah. Whoever called him a devo anyways. He owns it. He owns it. Right? So he owns it. He knows that he's that way. And I understand that, again, he wears his heart on his sleeve. So I know that he doesn't mean to come across as an asshole, but and he knows, and he said it. He's like, yeah, I come across as an asshole a lot. So he said it. He's acknowledging it, which is, half the battle, right? Is understanding and acknowledging it, and accepting that you have a problem. So asshole anonymous. Some of us should definitely attend that group, right, and get the help that we need. But anyway, so this is the gripe that I have, and it's kind of, it is what it is. But so when they came out with this guy, and they just hit a grand slam with this guy, because not only did they send you the knife at a fairly decent price, considering the fact that there's so many hands into the money pot that was involved in getting this to consumers. So the price hike that was there, if you understand how that works, you understand why the price is what it is as a consumer. But with this, in the price that you paid for it, They also sent you a nice microfiber hank with image of their faces on it, which was hilariously cool, right? Really cool and funny as hell, right? Because they had some good photos that they used of the two fellas. So yeah, that was a really nice touch. And they sent you a handful of swag. You got the bottle cap opener, and you got the cup coaster, and you got a whole bunch of stickers and extra hardware, extra pocket. Like, I mean, they really hooked you up with this knife. I mean, and this is just they're opening the doors of the Devo Knives knife brand, right? So that was super exciting, really cool, and gave you the warm and fuzzy feeling, right? For all of us that did that, right? Um, so then they came. Then they the next knife that I got from them was the Ed Harrison has it because I sent it to him. I did a giveaway with it. It's the Devo. Ed, what is it? What's the Devo that I sent you? Um, I can't remember the name of it. What was the name of it? I gotta go to my channel and look. My channel videos. It was a while ago. I bought the first run of it, and they listened and understood the issues that the bulk of us had with the knife and the model and the design of it, and they resolved like 80% of that in their second rendition of the knife. If I can find the damn thing, the video that I did on it, the Growler, yeah. So I have a video on the Growler on the first version, titled Growler Gripes, and there, I mean, it was just a couple of things really that I had the issues with, and they weren't terrible. Just yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it was the Growler. So a fantastic knife, but and the price point on it was less than the Stout. Um, but when you got it, it was in a box. There was no, I mean, you didn't get any swag. It was just a knife in the box. No Devo carry case, zippered pouch thing, no nothing. Just the knife in the box, right? With a Devo sticker. That's all that was there. That was all that was to it. Okay? And then the next one that I got, and I gave that one away because I wasn't 100% happy with it, personally, and I thought it was a great knife to give away, because I understood that a lot of people did not have the funds to purchase one of these. So with the Growler being the next design that they came out, I was like, well, let me give somebody else an opportunity to experience a Devo Knives knife. And the Growler is an excellent knife, just it didn't tickle my fancy well enough for me to want to keep it. And I also kind of had the idea that I was going to get the Mash, the Devo Mash, because I liked the design of that one a little bit more. I never ended up getting a Mash. There are a couple of reasons why at the time, and I kind of just got myself over it. There were other knives that I was more interested in acquiring, so I ended up not getting the Devo Mash. So then the next knife that I got that was a Devo knife was the Nip, and I had a fun video with this one where it's called as the Devo. What did I say? The D is the Nip or a Nope is basically the pun that I played off of with it, and I had fun with the video for this knife. Scrolling back up to try to find the video title. But this is a nice little knife. This is a fantastic little fifth pocket. Yeah, I just titled it a nip or a nope, a Devo deliberation. So I mean, I absolutely love the name, and I had so much fun with the name. I almost feel like I should redo that video because I recorded it when it got really dark really fast in the wintertime. And so the lighting in that video kind of sucks. But I don't know if it's worth really me spending the time redoing that, re-recording all of that. I kind of was exhausted from the whole thing, period. But yeah, so I got this knife, and again, no pouch. I was really kind of hoping, like, how cute would it have been, how sweet would it have been for Devo to have made a smaller zippered pouch or sleeve for this guy to go in. Like, that would I would have absolutely loved that. And I think it would have made a difference to a lot of customers buying Devo knives if they had made a pouch for the little ones, for these little guys. But again, it was nothing. It was just the knife in a cardboard box. Like, and no swag, and fewer spare parts to it. So the fact that you are spending the higher in price because you're paying for, so many hands dipping into that money pot in the process that they have to go through to get these produced, so you're paying that premium for that, because of that they would, maybe it's because so many other companies have spoiled us with giving all the extra swag and the pouches and the this and the that. But I hate how bare bones this was delivered. And with the pricing being the way the pricing was. Like, when they came out with the stout and they set themselves up, that's what my expectations were. I wasn't expecting them to do as much on the second knife and the third knife and the fourth knife as they did with the first, but I was expecting it to be up there in kind of setting that precedence of, you're going to get some cool stuff with your knife. You're not just going to get the knife. I felt like that was the direction, that was the promise that Kevin was trying to make with his company, with the Devo Knives brand. And it just didn't happen. And so I was bummed out about that. I was really bummed out about that. And so I don't feel like my dollars are accounted for with the pricing that they do on their knives when they don't include anything anymore. Like, no extra stuff. And so even though the knives are excellent, they're 100, like, there's absolutely no nitpick gripes on any of these. And this is S90V. Yeah, S90V Stonewash steel blade. I love my S90V. And it's a hollow grind, which makes all the difference when you're talking about these shorter blades. But again, I like, it irritates me that you don't get some swag, you don't get some extras when you pay what you pay for a Devo knife. And so, as unbelievably amazing as the experience was with this one, the fact that it didn't, like, take a small step back, it took a huge step back in the overall experience. And that's kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And with what happened with the Growler, I honestly feel like they rushed that knife. Yeah, I really don't use the pouches that much either. If anything, I tell you what I do love is the, rather than, hold on, let me grab them. I have them here. Oh, I thought I did. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Oh, come on. Where did it go? Here it is. All right. Okay. So these style pouches, right? The little black zippered pouches. You unzip it, and you got, you know, two little slots in opposite directions, so that way the pocket clips don't bang up and scratch up against each other, to where you can put two knives in here, right? So this is the EMP EDC one. So these are the ones that most companies send out with their knives, that the companies that include a pouch, right? So these I like almost never use. Almost never use these. Okay. Here's the one. Here's the leather coated Devo one, and this is a fake leather. That's not. Oh no, that might be real leather. I get a leathery smell. Not high quality leather, but still leather. So this is legit leather, because I can smell it. That's not fake. That's real leather. It is just not super high quality leather. Um, so you have this one, right? That's what the stout. That's what this guy came in, right? So like when I got that knife and got it in this pouch and got all the swag with it and everything, like that was kind of like, wow, impressive. My dollars actually went towards, some nice stuff, some quality setup. Now my RS Chaos, or originally called the Mayhem, Vosteed's version of the Mayhem, it came in one of these dry boxes, and that is sweet. So when you spend over $250 on a knife and it comes with one of these that you can then use for so many other things. I hate that it's orange, because I am not a fan of orange. I really don't like orange. But the fact that you can use these for other things and all sorts of stuff, and it's just a good, solid quality dry box. This is awesome. This is worth paying an extra $10 to $15 for, because you can use it for a bunch of things, not just knives. So this I love. Absolutely love this. Now, Finch sent this, and they don't. Finch sent they actually were giving them away at Blade Show this year, which sadly Finch is not going to be at Blade Show this year. I talked to I forget what his name is. One of the dudes that's works with Finch that I met last year at Blade Show, and have had back and forth conversations with through the year. But yeah, they were giving these away at Blade Show, and they only had so many of them, so not everybody was able to snag one. But they gave away this, which you can fit 4 of your small to medium sized knives in, like the so the Kaiser Veritas, he fits in there just fine. Right? He goes in there just fine. And that's a medium 3.1 inch bladed knife. I'm pulling out ones that I have here right with me. The Tempest Knife's Pinion, amazing EDCer by KC. He fits in there nicely and zippers up just fine. So you can do that. I do I do wish that because they did it to where all the openings are all on one end. So they didn't do like the one side opens at one end and the other one opens at the other. I kind of wish they had done it that way, but that's okay. But something as large as the CJRB Frac, which is a big boy, it does not fit in there very well. He I can close it. He barely fits in there. I can barely get that guy closed up in there and get that zipper around him. But that's pushing it. That is definitely pushing it. Let's see if I doubt it will. I'll be shocked if this guy will fit in it. The Spartan Harsey 4-inch blade Viking. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see if it fits in there. I doubt it. Oh, yeah, sure enough. It's there, and that'll zipper shut. Let's see if sure enough, get the zipper around it. But this is an awesome case. And this didn't even come with a knife. This was a freebie that they had at Blade Show last year. That when I finally got around to their booth, because they were in the back corner of the smaller room, and I actually went around that smaller room about 3 or 4 times and spent way too much time at the EMPEC booth. Y'all know why. But I eventually got to the Finch Knives booth that were kind of tucked away in the back corner of that room, kind of somewhat hiding. Love this knife. It's a gorgeous knife. It's my pride and joy. Most expensive knife that I own thus far. I wonder if the Kunwu Padre will fit in this case. But I love this case in the fact that you put 4 knives in here, and it's a squared zippered pouch, and it's lightweight. It's not super heavy. It's kind of got that waterproofish material that a lot of your backpacks and backpacking camping gear fabric is made out of. Ooh, the Padre barely, it really fills it. It fills that baby. That's what she said. Fills her up. But yeah, so I actually like this pouch a lot. It's compact, but yet provides enough protection at the same time. That's what she said. It's a great pouch. It's a very nice pouch that you can fit just about any knife. I was trying to find a knife that I own, a larger folder that I own that does not fit in it. But the fact that this Kunwu Padre and the 4-inch bladed Harsey fits in there, now it's kind of like, do I own a knife? A folder that fits in there? I mean, if the Harsey fits in there, then the RS Chaos fits in there. Yeah, the RS Chaos fits in there. The only other one that I have that I think might not work is this bad boy, which has the modified tip because I broke the dip. Let's see if it fits in there. It's probably as far as the length of the handles go. Yes, I finally found a folder that won't fit into it. that you cannot get the zipper up and over. Finally, I found a folder that I own that won't get closed up in this thing. But as you can see, this is a big knife. This is 4 1/4 inch blade, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's 4 1/4, but with the original tip. When I broke the tip off of this from throwing it at my fence, because boy was it fun throwing this for a folding knife, the way the weight distribution is on it, the balance of it, and the ergos on it, it's a fantastic thrower. It really is, surprisingly. I spent like 2 hours out there throwing this thing and sticking it over and over again. But yeah, this is Beyond EDC. What's the name of this? Night Horse. The Night Horse. Beyond EDC Night Horse. But it is just a little too big to fit in this case. But pretty much everything else I own, every other folder I own, fits in this bad boy. This is a great case. This is a great case to travel with. And then I have one other case. If I'm bringing more than 4, that's not going in my pocket. Then I'm bringing this thing. And this thing fits a whole bunch. 6 to 7 knives, or 9. I mean, some of these, these pockets are so wide on this guy to where some of your smaller knives, you can fit 2 of them in one pocket. Your slimmer knives, like your Finch knives, I can get two of them side by side into one pocket, and so you got 6 pockets. So you can stack quite a number of knives in this guy. And I bought this off of Amazon a couple of years ago, year or 2 ago. I forget who makes it, but yeah. And it's got lots of Velcro area that you can stack some patches onto it, that kind of a deal. But I got this for, if I'm going somewhere and I want to take a whole bunch of knives because I want to take photos of them in epic backdrops, and just have a bunch of choices, then I bring this guy. So this one and the Finch one, these 2 are the most often knife pouches that I use. And neither one of them, well, this one came from a knife company, but it was a freebie. And then this one I bought off of Amazon. So like all the little basic pouches that you get from knife companies, I don't use these. I have one of them that I keep some Olight flashlights in, my brass Olights. Those work well. Just storing the brass Olights in those with one of the silicone packets. I keep those in there so that the brass or copper doesn't get oxidized and stay shiny. But hey, Maddie and Mimo. Mimo's here. Maddie's here. Good to see you. Never gonna live that down, am I? No siree. My favorite Damascus blade that I have 2. I have 2 knives that have Damascus blades, and I'm not a big fan of Damascus blades. but I have two and that I really like, and the companies that made them did very well with them. Nope, not this one. There you go. Stand by. I'm gonna find the other knife. So for budget Damascus, surprisingly or not surprisingly, the company that in my mind does some of the best budget Damascus, because I don't own anything expensive on the higher end that has Damascus. The Damascus knives that I have are budget knives from Civivi. So the first one that I picked up more than a couple years ago is the Odium. And that, for the price point that this knife is, and the hardness and the quality of the steel composition that they used to make this Damascus blade, this is pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. Like, Civivi does a good job. This is the first knife that I bought that had a Damascus blade, and I thought they did a really good job. It's a very nice knife. Now, the second one that I got is the Vision, the Civivi version of the Vision with this Damascus blade here, and this is sick. I love this even more. I love how, like, the original, the main stock of the blade that's heat treated. And what do they use on this one? Is this VG10? What do they use? Or is it, I don't remember what the core is for this guy. I don't think it's VG10. I think it's might be their Nitro V, which they do a really good job with their Nitro V. But yeah, I love how they leave the core there to the edge. So you can sharpen this thing over and over and over again before you even come close to where the patterned Damascus part is. But yeah, this thing looks sick. I absolutely love the look of this Damascus blade. I like that style with the Damascus. So yeah, so these are the only two knives, and they just happen to both be Civivis. Yeah, I hope that I didn't offend anybody in any way. Just was just essentially my experience and my thought process as I went through the handful of Devo knives that I've purchased and owned, and just, my interactions, my very minimal interactions with Kevin and Colin. Again, I don't know them that well, but yeah. So again, I hope I didn't offend anybody, and I don't hate them. I just, felt like just the way they did everything is they're different. They do everything different. They're definitely different, and I don't know if that's all intentional or if that's just what happened. I have no idea. But yeah, so these are the only two Damascus blades that I have, and I am fairly impressed with what Civivi's been able to do with Damascus. But yeah, so that's that. Are you laughing at me, Space Ghost? Are you just happy to be here? But yeah, now I have some knives to put away. I didn't know what all I was going to talk about today, other than recapping my fun weekend that I had, and mentioning how close we're getting to Blade Show, and yeah, I just another day of winging it. Right now, I don't know who all likes Finch, but it took me a little while to get into Finch knives since I brought out those cases and kind of mentioned Finch. The 3 Finch knives that I own all well, I guess this is that a drop point? The point is, or a spear point, isn't the tip below the pivot, or it's really close. It's really close. I don't know what you'd call this blade shape. It's modified something. But yeah, this is the Stinger, and I like it. I like it a lot. I love it with the blue handle there. But Finch was a little hard for me to get into because I have always felt from the get-go, and even now, I have always felt that their price point is about $10 to $20 more than I really honestly feel like they should be pricing. I just feel like their pricing is just a little bit on the high side. Here's the Finch Shiv, which I'm not a big fan of the Jade G10, but with the black coated blade of the Shiv, it kind of just, I mean, it looks good. And I dyed it. I put a little bit of, I dunked it in some gray RIT dye just for a little bit to give just a tiny bit of grayish color to it, just a little bit. And I think that kind of made it look a little bit better than your standard plain Jade G10. And then the other one, which is my newest, is the Hellfire, which I was stoked, and what I was all about at Blade Show last year. They had a prototype of this one on their table to take a look at, and I was just so ecstatic about this guy. I love the Fuller, so you can underfinger flick it all day long with that Fuller. But yes, love this one. So those are the 3 Finches that I have. And again, like every single one of them, I felt like they're priced about $10 to $20 higher than they really should be. Not to say that they're not amazingly well done, and their fit and finish is definitely on the higher end quality-wise. But I just think for materials and all together, I mean, they do in 154, which is an amazing steel. For like 90% of their lineup is done in 154. These are both 154 CM. The Shiv is actually done in your 14C 28N. Yeah. So this was kind of they were trying to throw out a budget one. Listening to, I'm sure they heard a lot of people at the shows say that they feel that us consumers feel like their price point is just a little bit, a touch on the high side, and out of reach for some people. And so I think it was very smart of them to do this knife this way with that steel at that price point, because this got a lot more people interested in Finch knives and being able to sample one that still has a high fit and finish build quality, but at an affordable price and a great affordable steel, and kind of just opens the door and gets those of us that were, a little bitter and hesitant on buying a Finch to buy one. And sure enough, Then I got 2 more. They have another one that's coming out soon. That's kind of a nice, yeah. The stinger is pokey. What up, Space Ghost? Let's pull up. Uh-oh. There we go. Finch knives. If y'all haven't seen their latest and greatest design, they're calling it the Pipeline. Let me share Z. There. I don't know where I went. Can y'all still hear me? Okay. Okay, I don't know what's going on with my camera video with there we go. Woo! I don't know. My computer did something. Yeah, my computer did something, so I don't know what's going on. Sorry, I had some KC technical difficulties there. So yeah, so the Finch is coming out with this guy, the Pipeline, and that's a sick looking blade shape. And that tidal blue resin is going to be pretty cool. Let's see, are they gonna? I don't know if they're gonna have just that handle material, or if they're gonna have more. Oh yeah, here we go. So they're gonna have the olive wood with black washed finish, and then they're gonna do a mother of pearl, which is gonna be mother freaking awesome. Yeah, mother of pearl, baby. And they'll have 154M CM steel on this one as well. 2.75. I would love for them to do, and this was my pitch to them last year, and I'll have to remind them again. But I would love for them to do. I know they're all about modern modern materials with a more traditional style that occasionally has a modern twist to some of the blade shapes or whatever. But I would love for them to do an XL version on something of theirs. Besides the, I mean, they did do an XL. They got a Runtley XL. Pull that guy up. But even their XL versions of the Runtley here is a 3-inch blade. I would just love to see them do something that has closer to a 3.5-inch blade. I would just love to see them do a bigger, beefier knife. That's kind of, I mean, that would be out of their norm. but I think it would be cool to see them do that. I think they'd get quite a number of buyers. Here's the McCoy, which was a very popular model over this past year. 2.75-inch blade. So yeah, they're all about, their jam is, you know, traditional styles and traditional size for, you know, gentlemanly, you know, pocket carrying knives. I absolutely love the Hellfire. I was just so stoked about the Hellfire. And I like it in the red and black carbon fiber. And I also love the look of the Inferno resin scales. This gold glitter resin looks so sweet. And I mentioned it to I mentioned it to them that I loved it, that I loved the idea, even though I don't have the money and would not be willing to put out the money to buy another one and have two of these knives. But I would love to see this gold resin, this gold glitter resin handle scales on the black, on the black bladed finished knife, on the one that I have. Like, it would just be sweet to see if you swap those scales and put that gold resin scale onto this knife. I'd love to see it. So I was kind of hinting or trying to subtly hint to them that, hey, if for some reason you have some gold glitter resin scales that were like, you know, one-offs, you know, or imperfect in some way, I'd be happy if you'd send them to me so that I could just put them on the one that I have, just to see what that mashup looks like. I was trying to subtly hint at the idea of him doing that for me, but I don't know if it just went over his head or it didn't click, or if they don't have any extra scales of the gold glitter. But it would be sweet to see the gold glitter scales on the black finish setup. I just think that would probably look really, really cool. That's an idea, Mimo. A folding hunter or back pocket knife, and that stays somewhat traditional, but would be of that larger size. You know, that 3.5-inch blade. I don't know if, yeah. Okay. Well, drink some water. How popular, I wouldn't know, but I'd be curious to know how popular is the white bone handle scales on their knives, like as far as how many they produce and how many they sell, or how quickly they sell. Um, their white boned handled knives compared to everything else. I mean, for most companies, your carbon fiber is the bigger sellers these days. They seem to sell the fastest, and then your micarta and G10 are somewhat closely second, in neck and neck with each other. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not sure how well the white bone does, and if they don't do very well, it would make sense to discontinue it, cost wise for the company. My computer was processing a fart, maybe. You think it's classy? I would say like real bone is classy. Let's see. I have a real bone knife up here. It's a very old bone knife. Here's a. I guess I'll get rid of. So how's that? That is actual antler bone on a knife that is sitting right about 100 years old. This knife is about 100 years old. It was my great grandfather's, and it was carried in World War II. It's the oldest knife that I own. Been passed down to me. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not a big fan of the white bone. That's actually a resin material just made to look like bone. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't know how many people are. It's interesting that you see that as being classy. And I'm not really even a big fan of the stag bone handles. I mean, that's just. I mean, they're nice, just not my jam. What it boils down to, they're just not my jam. Oh, I'm just putting all these away. Putting my toys away. Put your toys away, son. Rosecraft is doing some stag models. What's the Rosecraft that Maddie absolutely loves? What's his favorite Rosecraft model again? There's one that he just it tickles his fancy so much. He just loves that what is it? I honestly forgot what the name of it was. Mohawk. That's right. Thank you, Mimo. It was coming back. It was phasing back from the back of my brain what the name was, but yeah, the Mohawk. I don't even remember what his beef was with that thing. He just hated it for whatever reason. Was it the action? Was it that it was all gunked up? Did he not like the ergos? What was it? What was it about that knife that he absolutely could not stand? Oh, that was great. That's one of the few knives that Maddie bashes. Oh, did it? Player haters ball short. That's great. That's too funny. Well, all right. It's I think I've been on here for much longer than I even expected myself to go. So you guys, everybody have a great weekend. Whoever's still hanging out besides Mimo and myself. He's the only one who's been in the chats for the last couple minutes. B&A, I don't know if you're still here. But yeah, it was fun. This was a good live. I appreciate y'all. Hey, with my skateboard that I made. Let me tell you about that real quick before we get out of here. Before we leave, because that was kind of. I had a pretty good time making this, and doing the video on it. I have not been on it. I've been on it once since. But yeah, so if you haven't watched the video on this skateboard, the ending at least where you see my piss poor abilities to ride a skateboard. In my defense, I was never good at skateboarding, and I hadn't been on one in about 20 years. 20 years. So that's my defensive argument as to why I suck. Um, but yeah, this thing came out really nice, really cool. And that's the skid tape, deck tape that I added to it in that fashion. That was fun trying to cut that out and that rough design of doing it that way. And the big thing to me was something that had handles that I could, carry around or strap to a backpack and strap to the motorcycle. Um, so, and I was initially, like I stated in my video, the idea was to do this at like basically on a less than $10 budget of just materials. And I was going to reuse some trucks and wheels from an old skateboard of mine. And that didn't really, like, I tried cleaning up the wheels the best I could and cleaned the bearings out and everything. And then once I got them all back together, like, they just, with as beautiful as the deck came out, with the non-skid and everything, like, I felt once I got all that done and I went to put on the trucks and the wheels from the old skateboard, I was like, I did such an amazing job with the rest of it. It would really be a shame to put on old hardware on such a beautiful brand new board. So I went ahead and bought an inexpensive, a $30, less than $30 board from Academy Sports, and took and commandeered and transferred over the brand new trucks and wheels off of that board and put them on this guy. And so that's why it looks as beautiful as it does. So yeah, this thing's really cool, and I really need to get back on it and practice some more. But in my defense of that video clip, uh, these bolts right here that are with the plasticky gaskets or whatever those things are called. Again, my knowledge of skateboarding and skateboard terminology is next to nothing. I know that these things are called trucks. These are the wheels. There's bearings in there, and this is the deck, and this is the skid tape. That's it. That's all I know. That's all I know. But when you tighten this bolt right here, that scrunches everything here, and so that when you're standing on the board, the amount of flex, the back and forth that the wheels have, either reduces or increases. And so when I first put these on this board, transferred them over from the board that they came on, this guy, the front one, was very loose. And so it was very easy to turn on, way too easy to turn on this thing based off of how much lean you put in one direction or the other. So that's why in the video I looked even more wobbly than I anticipated. Bushings, thank you, Joseph. Or risers or whatever, I don't know. So since when I got home after that video, I went and inspected and realized that I needed to have tightened this one on the front. The back one was good, was about where it needed to be, but the front one there was way too much flex there. So I tightened it, and the second time that I went on the board after doing that, I was much better. Much better. So I need a lot more practice, and might still be wearing the motorcycle helmet when I go from the hotel parking lot to the Blade Show Galleria building. From that point A to point B, I might still need to be wearing my motorcycle helmet if I'm going to be on this thing. Because, yeah, like Ed says, skateboard equals broken bones. Up until the military and getting blown up in the Humvee, I had not broken a bone in my body, despite all the crazy shit that I did growing up as a kid, all the extreme sports and extra activities and things that I involved myself in, all the crazy shenanigans I was always up to. I was super, super lucky in never breaking a bone. I dislocated my arm 4 times over in less than 3 years. So that sucked. That took away my ability to have a possible pitching career as a baseball pitcher, because by the third time I had dislocated my left arm, my left shoulder. Like, I was kind of done for after that. My pitching went downhill, and I, yeah, ruined that. But yeah, so then when I went into the military and went on my deployment overseas and got in that ambush on my convoy and busted my lower back, that's been the only time that I fractured my lower spine. Other than that, I've not broken a bone, broken or fractured any other bone in my body, which is insane considering what I've put myself through voluntarily. So, well, that's all I got for y'all today. Speaking of military stuff, it is Memorial Day weekend. So if you know a veteran besides myself uh, and Beard of Doom, and I know there's a number of us in our community that are veterans, so make sure you mention something to them, and your active duty soldiers if you got friends or family or know somebody that's in the military currently. Wish them a happy Memorial Day, and I will see you guys later. Peace.